a diet higher in acidity than ever, sodium-potassium balance, higher salt content than ever, and fiber content, we're getting less fiber than ever. So this is this great quote from Dr. Lauren Cordain, who's very in the paleo mix. It's that the symphony orchestra plays not with a single instrument, but together. All of these factors synergistically together impact our health and our well-being. The orchestra that we're playing today results in chronic, low-level inflammation, and by virtue of that, disease. So I'm going to suggest that we play a different orchestra. And that different orchestra is paleo. That's the case that's made today. The case for paleo is quality meats and seafood, veggies, fruits, roots and tubers, and those are yams, beets, parsnips, things that are coming from the ground. Healthy fats, olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, and some nuts and seeds thrown in there. And basically, if you remember what I was talking about with those hunter-gatherer societies, it's what they were eating. It's what they were catching. It's what they were grabbing from the ground. It's what they were grabbing from the trees. Who's thinking prove it? Who's thinking like, well, where are you getting all this stuff from? So let's get down a little bit into the science behind it. And I'm going to quickly blitz these studies. We're going to have plenty of time for Q&A afterwards, so if you have a question, remember it. Or if it's burning you up that bad, I'm okay if you shout it out too. All right? So let's go through study number 1. There are 5 major studies supporting paleo nutrition. All right? Number 1, University of Melbourne, Dr. Karen O'Day. They took 10 middle-aged Australian Aborigines. The Aborigines grew up as hunter-gatherers, and they were introduced to a Western diet and a Western society. And no surprise, all 10 developed type 2 diabetes, and they were overweight. Okay? So the researcher, Dr. O'Day, went to the Aborigines and he said, listen, I want to put you back in the outback for 7 weeks because you know how to hunt and gather. That's how you grew up. I want to put you back there, remove the Western diet, and let's see what happens. Okay? So for 7 weeks, they agreed. They ate a diet of kangaroo, bird, crocodile, shellfish, yam, fig, crayfish, bream, and bush honey. Anything that they could get. What happened? Average weight loss, 16.5 pounds in 7 weeks. Blood cholesterol down 12%. Triglycerides down 72%. Insulin and glucose metabolism returned to normal, and their cases of type 2 diabetes effectively disappeared. Okay? That's study number 1. Study number 2, Dr. Stefan Limburg. 29 patients with type 2 diabetes and heart disease were placed on either a Mediterranean diet, which is thought of as a fantastic diet, I'm not disputing that, or a paleo diet. Okay? Blood glucose tolerance improved in both groups, which is why I say I'm not disputing. I think Mediterranean is solid, but more in paleo. And they found that paleo had a greater calorie for calorie satiation, causing people to want to eat just a little bit less. Study number 3, Dr. Osterhall, in 2008, 14 healthy subjects were placed on a paleo diet for 3 weeks. They lost weight, they reduced waistlines, and they significantly reduced their blood pressure. And they were starting from healthy biomarkers. Study number 4, Dr. Frassetto in 2009. This is my favorite. They took 9 inactive subjects and they put them on the paleo diet for 10 days. What made this so cool to me is that they studied these individuals for a long period of time and they measured their calorie intake. Okay? So what Dr. Frassetto said was, well, wait a second, I don't believe in this calorie for calorie business, so I'm going to match your calories with paleo intake, right, relative to what you were taking before. So any changes that you see, we can attribute it to selection, not a reduction in calories. What happened? Improved blood pressure, arterial function, insulin response, total cholesterol, LDL, triglycerides. It occurred in just 10 days, and it occurred to every single patient involved in the study. And lastly, Dr. Lindbergh in 2009, he comes back. He wants to compare the paleo diet to the diabetes diet, and that's recommended to those with type 2 diabetes. Does it in 13 patients. Diabetes diet intends to reduce overall fat intake by ingesting whole grain breads and cereals, low-fat dairy products, fruits and vegetables, while restricting animal foods. And we know by now what the paleo diet is, so that was that side. They did it in a crossover design. So half the group started on one diet, half the group started on the other, and then after 3 months, so this was a long study, they then crossed over and experienced the other for another 3 months. Paleo diet comparatively improved weight loss, waist size, blood pressure, HDL, triglycerides, the list goes on, all the diabetic blood markers beat the diabetes diet that is being currently recommended to those with type 2 diabetes. So, that is the science. Don't want to catch anyone snoozing, falling asleep, all right? So let's get the science out of the picture. And I want to get down to the empirical, the experiential, what goes on here at Relentless every day. what we're seeing, what really got us excited, and what really caused us to dive into the research in the first place and get our hands steeped in the science. My story begins with the transformation program. A little transformer shirt for those who got it, all right? Story begins with the transformation. In 2009, I wanted to take my personal training to the next level. I said, gotta do something special. What can I do? I took 12 weeks and I said, how far can I get personally, physically in 12 weeks? And how far can a client of mine get in 12 weeks, all right? 8 weeks in, I was getting good results, good, solid. I was on the right path. But again, I kind of had that urge to do more. I wanted to close it with a bang. I wanted the last 4 weeks to be great. And I even remember Riss telling me, she said, you look great, but you're never gonna get rid of that fat below your belly button. It's like, I just don't think, she's like, I just don't think, no, it's like, be realistic. I just don't think it's gonna happen, but you look phenomenal. And so what I ended up doing was I tested taking grains out of my diet, okay? And I didn't know the word paleo then. I didn't know what paleo was. I had no friggin' clue. But, I don't know, I just got this inspiration, tried taking grains out of my diet and seeing what would happen, okay? So my carbohydrate intake at the time was basically yams, fruit, and vegetables, along with all the proteins and all that good stuff. I reduced about between 6 and 7% body fat by the end, and I got rid of that fat below my belly button. My results in the last 4 weeks had dwarfed the results in the first 8 weeks, and for those of you who know anything about dieting, that doesn't make any sense, because when you start a diet, that's when you should get the best results, because your body has the most to lose. So now the mind was cooking, now the mind was spinning, and I said, all right, got to get into this. Then I found the word paleo, and some of you are familiar with the word primal, and really started to get into all the different things I've been talking to you about. So I said, there's some magic here. And we kept going with that transformation. And we shortened it to 8 weeks, and since then we've seen some unbelievable magic happening here, and it just makes me smile thinking about it. We've seen in 8 weeks 35 pounds down. We've seen type 2 diabetic blood markers eliminated in a 30s female as well as a 60s male, okay? We've seen 12 pounds of lean muscle mass gain in 8 weeks. We've seen allergies removed. We've seen someone produce a testimony that said, if I hadn't changed my diet like this, I would not have started my new business. We've seen 6 inches reduced off an abdomen in 8 weeks from a girl who started at 32 inches. That is not that heavy. So, I want to turn this back around to the audience, and I want to pick on 2 people who have been through the transformation, and I want to ask them to share their experiences. And can we start with Marissa?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in an Italian family, so every Sunday we eat pasta and we eat buttered bread, and we eat salami and cheese sandwiches for lunch every day, and I had really bad acne all growing up. My mom kept taking me to the doctors, and they kept giving me like cream and pills, and I was like, I feel like, now I'm like in my 20s and I'm still kind of going through the same thing, and like I keep telling them, I think it's something in me, I think something's wrong. And they're like, you need to take this pill, it might make your babies deformed, but it's gonna make you have clear skin. I'm like, I can't take this, and so, I don't take the medicine. I keep just going along doing sort of the same thing, and I end up getting on transformation. And amazing, like, not only did I lean out, I got stronger, my performance is better, my skin is clear, and it's been clear. I mean, that's not perfect, but from what it was, it used to like hurt, it was deep down, it was in it. And something from what I was eating was reacting to, my skin was reacting really, really poorly to it. And just changing my diet changed my skin, it changed my whole body. So for me, I know when I'm eating the right foods because it feels better. I can really feel a difference. So that's my experience.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Jen Siegel.
Hi. Wait, see now you're all awake. I did a transformation in Roger's first 8-week transformation, and the way that came about was called him in January, and I was like, back. Roger, fix it. And I started transformation with the goal that Roger hates, was that I wanted to lose weight. And I got 2 weeks into it, and I was working out 5 or 6 days a week, and I was just putting in all the time. And I was eating yogurt. And I was like, this isn't working. What's going on? Roger was like, you can't have dairy. Cut it out. We weren't calling it paleo at the time. It was following Roger's rules about what to eat and what not to eat. Come to find out, every instruction he was giving me was paleo. So look at that. out my grains, got everything locked down, and it was actually really a 6-week transformation because I was actually following the rules for 6 weeks. It was amazing, changed my life. And now that we call it paleo, doing a 30-day paleo challenge, which isn't even as long as 8 weeks, literally has changed the way that I eat, changed the way I feel, and it's completely cleaned out my body. It's incredible. So it really makes a difference. And like Roger said earlier, it doesn't matter how much time you spend in the gym. If you're not eating, if you're not putting in, you're not going to get the results. So.
Thanks, Jen. Thanks, Chris. All right. So before we get up to Q&A, I want to give you a little roadmap for individual success via the opinions of one man. All right. Understand paleo. Okay. So I think that's the first step. I think this word is something that's thrown out there a lot. Okay. I think you really need to get down into what are the fundamentals. And I mentioned this before, but quality meats and seafoods, vegetables, fruits, roots and tubers like, again, those yams, those beets, those parsnips, healthy oils, coconut, olive, and so on, and some nuts and seeds. That's a starting point, and certainly in the Q&A or afterwards, when you're going to be sent some interactive notes as well, I encourage you to explore there. So understand it first. Second, be proud. Be proud of yourself. Be proud of your genetic physical expression. You know, you're all the you that you get. Show yourself. Show yourself in the best way. And then if you want to do all that, take pride in what you eat. Prioritize. Know your priorities. Guess what? I love cake. I love cookies. I know Risk can Jess, you know this, right? I eat it occasionally. I do. I'm not perfect. Right? Every now and again, something comes across my plate. But